The tension in the studio was palpable as Denzel Washington appeared on Stephen Colbert's show for what was supposed to be a routine interview promoting his latest film and sharing insights into his storied career, yet within moments of the opening questions the atmosphere shifted dramatically and the audience could sense an unusual friction as Colbert's questions veered unexpectedly toward controversial social issues, sparking an intense reaction from Washington, whose normally calm demeanor cracked, revealing a rare edge that immediately set the stage for a confrontation that no one had anticipated. As the discussion progressed, Colbert pushed further, pressing Washington on topics that intersected politics, entertainment, and personal beliefs with a persistence that some viewers might have called incisive but in that moment felt invasive. Washington's responses grew increasingly curt, his trademark humor replaced with sharp retorts and pointed observations that challenged the host directly, creating a palpable energy that made even the crew behind the cameras exchange uneasy glances as the dialogue escalated beyond the usual bounds of civility. The live audience, initially applauding the star power of Washington's presence, began to murmur in confusion as the exchange intensified. Colbert, visibly amused yet unwavering, probed deeper into Washington's past interviews and public statements in a manner that seemed calculated to provoke a reaction, and Washington, unwilling to be cornered or misrepresented, countered with statements that cut through the scripted flow of the show, signaling that the conversation had entered uncharted territory and that the celebrity-host dynamic had shifted into a high-stakes confrontation. Camera operators struggled to maintain composure as Washington's voice grew louder and more resolute, while Colbert maintained his signature smirk and satirical edge, pushing with questions that struck at Washington's principles, and the actor's patience visibly waned, creating a moment of tension that transcended typical celebrity interviews. The words exchanged carried weight beyond mere entertainment, sparking whispers among the production team about whether this episode could recover without escalating further. The live audience leaned forward in their seats, sensing a rare volatility that was impossible to script. Every subtle inflection and glance between the two men seemed loaded with unspoken challenges, and the once light-hearted mood of the show had transformed into a tense arena where verbal sparring carried the same energy as a dramatic performance. Yet everything unfolding was unscripted and entirely real. The host's attempts to maintain control contrasted sharply with Washington's commanding presence, each rebuttal carefully measured yet undeniably forceful. The dynamic on stage reflected not just a clash of personalities but a collision of ideologies, and the audience could almost feel the electric charge in the air as every statement hung heavily, amplifying the suspense and leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, anticipating whether decorum or confrontation would prevail. The lighting and camera angles seemed almost secondary as the human drama took center stage, every reaction from the host and actor magnified under the unblinking scrutiny of the live broadcast, creating a rare glimpse into the intense pressures of high-profile media appearances and the delicate balance required to navigate fame, authority, and authenticity in a setting designed for entertainment yet suddenly transformed into a crucible of integrity and principle. As Washington's voice resonated with both authority and defiance, signaling that the conversation had escalated far beyond casual dialogue and was entering territory that would test both men's ability to maintained composure while still delivering an unforgettable televised moment. Views on a recent controversial film industry event, and the actor's response was immediate and unfiltered, a searing commentary on integrity, authenticity, and the pressures of fame. The exchange was electric and the audience sat on edge, sensing that the friendly rapport typically expected in late-night interviews had been replaced by a charged confrontation that teetered on the edge of conflict. Washington's words carried both conviction and defiance, challenging the assumptions embedded in Colbert's question and exposing the limits of what even seasoned hosts might navigate on live television. The actor's tone was firm yet eloquent, delivering a message that resonated with underlying principles while maintaining the gravitas of his public persona. The audience felt the intensity of the moment as laughter and applause were replaced with an almost tangible tension. The studio crew exchanged glances, realizing that the episode had veered into unprecedented territory where improvisation was the only option, and every reaction from both host and guest was amplified by the live broadcast. The cameras captured every micro-expression, from Washington's steady gaze to Colbert's subtle attempts at regaining control. While the dialogue oscillated between confrontation and clarification, the exchange illuminated the complexities of fame, accountability, and personal belief systems in a setting designed for entertainment yet suddenly transformed into a stage for real human drama. The energy in the studio was electric, the air thick with anticipation and unease as viewers both present and at home witnessed an extraordinary instance where the usual protocols of late-night television were suspended in favor of raw, unfiltered discourse that left everyone questioning what might come next and how the rest of the show could possibly unfold without further escalation.